Okay, so I got another one. So there was, and this is going to be kind of a long story, but I'll do the best I can to explain it. In Generation 1's prototype, there were 3 Pokemon that we know of, that like Skimper, Beluga, and I believe Cryithan is the names that I remember them as. And so basically, they were supposed to be water dragon types. Lance actually had these. This explains why he didn't have 2 Dragonairs. He had a Dratini, a Dragonair, Beluga, Cryithan, and then a Dragonite. Now, okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. So Cryithan, Skimper, and Beluga did not make it into Gen 1. You probably never even heard of these Pokemon. And again, I will have pictures of them on this video so you can see what they look like. You know, but anyways, I was thinking, and this is actually goes into the 1997 Space World demo. You want to talk about them reusing this. They took Skimper and they remade it into a Pokemon called Kurusu. And then this was the beta water starter, by the way, before Totodile took the family over. And they scrapped it. Oh, I really wish they would have used this Pokemon for something else. Because this Pokemon, even I've played the 1997 Space World demo and the Reforged hack that somebody made. It's actually pretty cool. And let me tell you what, what's the word? The stats on this final Pokemon, it's nuts through the roof. It's like the Pokemon is very, very strong. It's a broken Pokemon. It's kind of like, it reminds me of a Lapras with the, what was it, like the shell lock ability or whatever it was called, the one where it blocks critical attacks and everything. It's like, geez, man, you know, it's overpowered. You know. And so anyways, so Kurusu evolves into a Pokemon called Aquas or Akua, and then it would evolve into a Pokemon like Aquamarine or Akueria or something like that. Basically, it's like a giant platypus Pokemon, like well, no, probably like Lapras. Like, it's supposed to be like a, you know, it was supposed to be like a prehistoric dinosaur, water-based Pokemon. It lives underwater. And the idea with Kurusu was it was a Pokemon that was so timid and it was so paranoid in a way that it excluded itself from civilization, to the point where a lot of people, it was basically the Loch Ness Monster. And, you know, I know some people say that Lapras is technically like the Loch Ness Monster, but like one that is actually more open and willing to give people rides to like other islands and all that. Again, even if you watch like the Japanese anime, you'll know exactly what I mean. Lapras was always there with Ash when they went to the Orange League Islands, for example. If anybody remembers that. There's also the Lorelei, the Elite Four, actually had a Lapras. Lapras was her strongest one, I believe. I always thought Dugong was my favorite ice type Pokemon outside of Articuno, and then there was Lapras. Lapras is cute and adorable. But anyways, so you have a Lapras, but then you have another set of Pokemon. So Cryithan would, I do believe that even though they're not dragon type Pokemon, but they're kind of based on like dragon, like prehistoric Pokemon though. So Aqua, what was the other one? They're not dragon types, but they are, actually I don't think they are dragon types. I do think they were something else though. They were water and, was it a water and ice type? It was something. It was either that or it was a pure water type. I have to look it up again, but anyways, they scrapped the Pokemon because they probably replaced it with Totodile, and I'm more convinced that Totodile came out because Totodile is a cute Pokemon. It really is. And I mean, honestly, I think I'm trying to remember the guy who does who was the lead director of all the Pokemon designs. I think his name was Ken. I mean, they always had some really good ideas. I mean, I see Game Freak as a company that like they put a lot of heart and soul into a lot of ideas. Granted, there might be certain prototypes that they have to go through and protocols that kind of looks like they might be running out of ideas. But I truly do believe though that a lot of the people that work at Nintendo and work at Game Freak, I do believe they still have the potential. Like, there's a lot of ideas they could really have. And I mean, Pokemon's a series that, if you really think about it, there's always something that they could probably go back to. Like, I mean, there's so many like dual types that we don't even have yet. I think, last time I checked, I think it was like roughly 17, there was like 19 types or something like that. And there's tons of like dual types that haven't even been done yet, like combination wise. You have like 314 something of types and all that. And it's just crazy to think that, imagine if they had like Eevee evolutions for like one of every type. It'd actually be pretty cool. Even if they just stuck with just the one types instead of having to go like rock and ground type and then rock and dragon type, or it'd be nuts, man. You could make a Pokemon game that had like as many third generation Pokemon, like all the way up to like 386 of just nothing but Eevee evolutions and all that. Imagine if somebody actually had the time to do that. Somebody was like a huge Eevee fanatic and they made like their own fan-made Eevees and all that. Like it's crazy. Like I even remember there was even an image somewhere on Google. Like I can't remember like what website it was. Somebody actually had like Eevee evolutions of all types, and like it was all these fan-made ones, like a dragon type. Like it had a sweet ass design for like a dragon type and a ground type and a rock type, and it's just like the imagination of some people. It's just wild, man. Here you have this adorable little fox Pokemon, and it's it's so cute. But but yeah, it's going back to a lot of ideas were scrapped, and it makes you really wonder like how many ideas they might have wondered. Like, I mean, here's something else you probably didn't know, in case you didn't already know this by now. Leafeon was actually supposed to be in Generation 2, as well as Tangrowth and a lot of other Pokemon. And they actually, Tangela was actually had a baby form, believe it or not. So did Growlithe and Paris and all these other Pokemon. A lot of baby evolutions, because they introduced eggs in Gen 1, so it only made sense that there was probably like 30 Pokemon that you could breed and have eggs. That, you get a pre-evolved form of it instead of like a Kangaskhan hatching from a Kangaskhan. That'd be hilarious. Even though it should have been, even though I still stand by it that there was one Pokemon in Generation 1 that they probably scrapped, but we never were able to get the missing sprite, so we don't know, like, it was there, but it was like, it was taken out. So some people speculate that one of the Pokemon, it was baby Kangaskhan. I do personally believe that Cubone, Kangaskhan, or I will call it Orphan, the baby Kangaskhan, it would evolve in a Cubone, because Cubone's like it's still a child, yes, but it's not like a baby at that point. It's kind of a little grown up, but it's still very young in a child. It's a pre-child. It's not an infant anymore. It's, growing up a little bit. But so yeah, you have a lot of cool things about it. Let's see what else. I think like going back to Kurusu and all that. The Kurusu actually learned a lot of water type moves. I mean, it would make sense. Kind of a lot of moves that Cryithan and Skimper would learn. Outside the dragon type moves. Here's another one you probably didn't know. Gen 1 actually had more dragon type moves that even like Dragonite would learn, called like Mega Fire. It was supposed to be like a parody of like Final Fantasy's Mega Flare. Again, if you played Final Fantasy, you could probably see where I'm getting at with this. Like Lord Belmahant. I always forget how to pronounce it. The Dragon Lord, the one that would always, like the one you could easily beat if you just cast Reflect on yourself. You use Mega Flare and boom, kill, like do a ton of damage to himself. But anyways, I think that's probably a good place to stop for now. But basically, there's a lot of Pokemon out there, a lot of prototypes. They either changed them, they either scrapped them, or they used them all together. And, one of these days, the more data we find, I would not be surprised if Game Freak has all of it still saved in their database somewhere. Because, as a big corporation, why wouldn't you save your stuff? You know what I mean? Just in case you go back and look at it, or maybe even pull out inspiration from years later. I mean, you never know what's going to happen with a ton of the ideas they might have.